Mm. Hey, look at that. It's 6:30. It's time. I got some coffee. Oh, I can use that kind of place. It's good. I got a camera. Well, my phone. I got a tripod. Got a tablet. There are questions on it. What else do I need? Here we go. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday, November 7th, 2019. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. I'm feeling very rested, feeling awake and alert. Had my first fire in the fireplace last night, the wood stove. I call it a fireplace, even though it's a wood stove. And it was nice and cozy, and I watched V for Vendetta last night, which is a great movie. Not a lot in the way of martial arts in there, but some of the knife stuff is pretty impressive. You could watch that. You'd watch that fight scene at the end. Where he's throwing him and he's running. I mean, it's very... I don't know who choreographed that fight scene, or just the movie in general. But it's very fluid. And some of the movements remind me of Filipino martial arts. And I don't know if that's where it came from. I'm sure I could do the research and find the fight choreographer and probably at this point reach out to him or her. Let's not be sexist. And find out their experience. Huh. Is whistlekick at a place where I can use it for my own personal curiosities? I think it is. That's interesting. I'd never considered that before now. Hi, I host a podcast and do other things. Will you answer my question? That'd be kind of neat. So yesterday was a kind of a dreary, cold day. Not really a great day, but had lunch with a friend and got a decent amount of work done. Now, unfortunately, right in the heart of my kind of afternoon session of getting work done, my computer is running like death. And I said, okay, fine, I'll reboot it. But there was an update. And I went, oh, all right, this will probably take a few minutes. It took an hour. So I pretty much lost an hour. I did a little bit off my phone, went to get another cup of coffee, which by coffee I mean 2 shots of Americano. I'm probably having too much caffeine right now. Although most of the time I'm down to 1 cup in the morning. So maybe not. Oh, pardon me. Coached some CrossFit. Ate some Thai food. It was a good day. Not today. Today, got a meeting. And knock on wood, if this meeting goes well, it's huge for whistlekick. I'll spare you the details for now. We'll not jinx it. Talk about it tomorrow. After that, there's just a bunch of work that needs to be done. Some of it consulting, some of it whistlekick. Gotta do next Thursday's podcast episode. Today's episode is out. It is Thursday, episode of Martial Arts Radio, and today's episode is, what do we call it? Finding Your Path? I had a conversation not too long ago with a gentleman named TJ Storm, who is approaching a rank promotion in his school. And in his school, the curriculum at his rank is more self-directed. And he wasn't sure how to handle that. So we had a chat about it. And you get to listen to that chat. Check it out here on YouTube, podcast feed, whistlekickmartialartsradio.com, whatever you want to do. It was a good conversation. I've been getting more and more people reaching out, and I'm going to continue to help some of them as podcast episodes, but some of those people are kind of, we're kind of bridging. We've got this interesting intersection that what they need is my help, and they're willing to pay for that. So I've started coaching people on kind of martial arts and life matters. And that's really interesting. It's not something that I would have expected to do. And that's what next Thursday's episode is going to be about. It's about the launch of this and why and how and everything. So, yeah. Maybe I'll do a video on. I have to shave. When I'm done with this before my meeting. I don't know why I'm looking around for my phone. It's right there. But let's get into these questions. If you want to ask a question, drop it below. I'll answer tomorrow. Now, the first question up is from Kenny, and he asked it 2 days ago, and I missed it. And I'm sorry, Kenny. The question is, what activities, exercises, cardio can you use outside of the Dojang to boost your stamina during sparring or rank exam? I run often, but typically it's at a slow and steady pace and doesn't really seem to do much for my sparring endurance. Yep, you're experiencing the same thing that nearly everyone experiences. You can run a marathon. Let's say you're running a marathon at a 9-10 minute pace, 26 miles. And you get into a sparring match and you're winded in 30 seconds. And it doesn't make sense to people. They don't understand. Why? Because it's a completely different energy system in the body. That high intensity, short duration sparring match or doing a form at full tilt, that's not the same way in the body that energy is processed versus running for distance. It's closer to running for a sprint. How far can you sprint? Not that long. Usually 10 to 20 seconds. Less if you're really going harder. So if you want to get better at that short duration, high intensity cardiovascular workout like a sparring match, you have to practice that. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be sparring that you practice, but you have to practice with that intensity. So it could be running. It could be a lot of things. It could be burpees. So I'm going to suggest the easiest thing that you can do to build that sort of endurance that I can hand off to you, that you can easily look up and tackle on your own, is something called a Tabata. Tabata comes out of Japan, named after some guy named Tabata who figured this out. It is 20 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds of rest 8 times. So it's 4 minutes. Or is it 16 times? Anyway, you'll find it. And what I like about it is that 20 seconds of work is meant to be very high intensity. And then the 10 seconds of work, or rest rather, is just enough for you to shake it out. And there's some interesting science, and this is why he ended up at 20 and 10. But it doesn't take very long, and it not only is it a great workout, but it will get the body to change. So let's say you've got a short amount of time and you don't have a lot of equipment or space and you're looking to improve your sparring. The best thing you can do, ideally you have like a heavy bag or a wave bag you could kick. But if not, you can kick into the air. You can get a Tabata timer for free in any of the app stores. And you kick during that Tabata. You can switch legs. Maybe you alternate rounds between left leg, right leg. Maybe you're punching for some of them, but the key is that you're going really hard. You're doing these movements intensely, and you're going to find, wow, this is really fatiguing. But if you do it, let's say you start off doing it every third day, and after a couple weeks you go to every other day, maybe after a couple more weeks you do it every day, you'll find that your endurance goes through the roof. And whether or not this is for competition or for testing or just for general health, I don't think there's something simpler that you can implement that'll achieve those goals. Now, if somebody came to me and they said, here's my specific situation, here's everything that's going on, I could write them out a routine. I could give them a program. And I'm not opposed to doing that. But it's involved, and obviously that's not the kind of thing I'm going to just offer out there for free. We put that under the new coaching and consulting arm of Whistlekick. I don't want anybody to think that I'm going to stop helping people for free, because I'm not going to stop that. But we're at a point, I've always said, I will do this as long as I can until it gets to be too much, and we're there. There are a lot of emails that come in, and if you have emailed me in the last month or two, you know it takes longer for me to get back to people than it used to, and I don't like that. So if we can turn that into a revenue stream, we can shift things around a little bit and get back to people sooner. Great question. All right, next question. Imagine for a moment that you are a martial arts instructor again. Okay. Your students ask for a recommended reading list. What self-improvement books would be on that list? At the top of that list, a book that changed my life and set me on a completely different path. Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. Phenomenal book. The movie was good. The movie did the book justice, but it is not on the same level as the book. So don't try and get out of the book by watching the movie. All right, that's number one. Zen and the martial arts is number two. Am I going to recommend that? So the one I'm contemplating now is From Good to Great by Jim Collins, which I think is valuable for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. I don't think it's going to be as broadly applicable. There's a cat. Hi, cat. What are you doing? I don't read a lot of books, and I find fewer books that I think are really that powerful, that important, and worth reading again. I feel like there was another one not too long ago. I think everybody should read From Good to Great at some point. I think everyone should read A Killing Art at some point, but I don't think either of those are in the same vein that Frank's asking about here. They're good books, they're helpful books, but they're not self-improvement books. So I think really it's just those two, Zen and the Martial Arts and Way of the Peaceful Warrior. Those are the two that I've read that have really stuck with me. Quantity over quality. Right, Kat? Do you want to be on screen? There's a cat. Say hi. The rare appearance. There we go. Man, words aren't hitting. In your interview with Sifu Jeremy Roadruck, which was Monday's episode, great episode, gotten a lot of wonderful feedback, and he's been very gracious, and he's in the Martial Arts Radio behind the scenes group and everything. He mentioned the importance of self-talk. As an accomplished martial artist, what role do you think self-talk should play in one's martial arts journey? You will only get as far in anything, in life, in martial arts, in your career, in health goals, in your relationships, as you allow yourself to get. If you say something can't happen, it's probably not going to happen. If you watch a lot of these motivational videos, these montages on YouTube, most of them have this clip of Will Smith saying, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And I don't think I can sum it up better than that. If you struggle with forms, with remembering them or doing them powerfully or anything, and you say, I can't do this, I suck at forms, I'm never going to get better at forms, you're right. And I see a lot of people doing that. But if you change your attitude, if you open up that possibility, instead of I can't or I suck, I'm getting better. I'm trying. Words are powerful. And one of my biggest shifts in language right now is I've stopped saying I have to, I need to, I can't. I've changed it to I get to, or I want to, I'm going to. Why? What's the difference in those words? It's choice. There's power in choice. Instead of saying you can't or you never, which is surrendering, it's saying that the outcome is not in your control, which isn't true. Take control of that language. Be willing to take responsibility for your actions, for your development. Self-talk is hugely important in martial arts and in life. And if you're an instructor and you're hearing that language from people, I think the number one gift, the best thing you can offer them, is helping them understand why it's so limiting. Sometimes you gotta fake it. I have like a half-page sheet I read out loud to myself every day that has all my goals and things I'm trying to change in my life. And it's all from the point of being past tense. And I read it and I pretty much shout it. And I try to feel and believe that I'm from this place in the future where all of these things I'm reading have happened. Change your mindset and everything else can change. I don't think you're going to find any successful people who are down on themselves, who are cynical, who say, I can't. They haven't shed that language because they're successful. They're successful because they shed that language. And every one of us has the ability to shed that language. Not everyone's willing to do the work, but you all have the ability, the capability. It doesn't cost anything. Just take some time and, yeah, a bunch of effort. So that's going to be my homework to you today. I want you to listen to yourself. And if that's too hard, start by listening to other people. Notice how often people surrender responsibility in their day-to-day lives. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. No, you have a choice. You might be making the best choice, but you have a choice. Remember you have a choice. And with that choice comes strength, comes power over your own lives. You get to go to martial arts class. You get to train. You have the time to train at home. You choose not to. There's power in choice. So embrace that. Don't forget, I do the show every weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, here on YouTube. You can get an audio later. Just search First Cup with Jeremy in your podcast app. Go check out the Martial Arts Radio episode, whether it's here or in your podcast feed or at whistlekickmartialartsradio.com, all over the place, right? Been trying to content. Tuesday's episode of Martial Arts Radio Live, which was on Facebook, is now available here on YouTube. That went live last night at 9 p.m., so go check that out. And if you want to ask a question, drop it below, or maybe you're listening, you can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. Is there anything else? Subscribe, turn on notifications. Just have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.